back to the Warfare Panel Mills. Well, to episode 19. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Sarah.
Hello there.
Yes, and we have a whole bundle of news that just started the new year, comic book-wise, TV, everything. But I definitely want to start off with our favorite company, Detective Comics, DC. DC has some bad news going into starting the new year. As has been announced, they will be letting go roughly 3% of their workforce. Their DC platform has failed to get subs. That would be probably not good.
Yeah.
Especially their DC platform currently has the Young Justice Season 3 called The Outsiders, I believe. Everyone's dying for that. I mean, I think everyone's seen the Black Lightning meme already. You never had Black Lightning, baby. Basically. So that's been that. But the one positive thing of DC, and I really do mean it from my heart, is apparently people were buying. They started putting comics in Walmart sometime mid last year, and it's selling, and they're going to expand the Walmart comic book line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely interesting as, these comic companies are, sort of struggling to figure out what the heck they want to do with all this stuff that, Walmart's like, oh, hey, guys, I have my own imprint.
Yeah.
Look at my stuff. And you're like, I don't want to look at your stuff, okay? They're like, no, we're so great.
Yeah. Look at all the money we have, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, we sell things on cheap.
We don't pay our employees.
Yeah, we don't pay our employees. I'm really picturing him saying that as an Austrian man. We don't pay our employees. That's how we get all this stuff so cheap.
Oh god, what a good time that would be if that were actually true and Walmart weren't just like a heinous family that just basically holds on to their billions of dollars because fuck poor people.
Yeah. Oh man. No, it hurts me on the inside. That's actually, oh god.
Yep.
And the one thing is that, if you live in New York, if any of you guys live in New York, you know that in this city, there has been many laws you can't let Walmart be here. Walmart cannot be here because they're the lowest cost driver. They'll destroy several neighborhoods in their business. But upstate or everywhere else, you can have a Walmart.
Basically.
So yeah, but apparently, like I said, it's doing well for the DC, and I hope it continues. Though I wonder what would happen. Will they have Pacific-only trades for Walmart?
Who knows, man? It just seems like a really weird. I don't know.
Time to be alive. Hey guys, this is working. This is working.
I mean, hey, basically the good thing at Walmart is that Walmart, if it makes it in-house, they can sell it in-house and basically net a profit, whereas DC is pretty reliant on comic book shops, orders on Amazon and Comixology, so they have to do a lot more legwork, whereas Walmart's like, whatever, if I eat the costs, then it doesn't really matter. It's not like I spent a lot of money on this.
Basically.
Yeah, because Walmart does not pay its employees.
Yeah, in a very Austrian way.
In a very well, I feel like the people in the northern European places are actually pretty good about paying people. I think we just like to think they don't, because if we actually took a good hard look at how Americans do things, we'd be pretty fucking horrified.
Let's put it this way. Europe may not be perfect, but at least socially they're not perfect. At least they got some of the basic things down. That's all I can say. I don't have to worry about dying from a cold in Europe.
That must be nice. Well, actually,
yeah.
I'm not one to complain because I have a European Union passport. So if I ever really needed to, I could go get medical attention in Europe.
It's like, Matthew, I'm sorry for your cold, but I got this amazing doctor. I'm dying.
They're like, too bad, bitch.
Too bad.
Getting on a plane now. Bye.
Bye. Oh, God.
It's good times.
Good times. But another thing that's happening for DC is that Brian Michael Bendis has been pretty forthcoming about his project at Wonder Comics, the new imprint that DC's giving him, which so far has Young Justice, Naomi, that came out this week, the week of December 26th, that came out the week of December 26th, and it's been pretty, I guess it's been pretty solid, per se, I want to say. I haven't really kind of trusted them on some things because, I have my issues with Bendis.
Your heart's been broken too many times.
Let's put it this way. Bendis' greatest claim to power was when he was younger years, man. Those Daredevil, the Moon Knight, even his Avengers runs, great. But the moment he turned around mid 2008 or 9ish, I want to say, the time he took over X-Men and they create new X-Men, those X-Men books were horrible, left a big stain in everyone's mouth. And then Even Jessica Jones is great. And then they gave him more books. They gave him Guardians of the Galaxy, and that didn't do well. It's like that's when the decay of Bendis was showing, and it's like, yeah, your run, the time is done. They even gave you Iron Man, and it didn't work out. It's like, yeah, it's no longer.
No must.
It's yeah, but now he's at DC and he's doing kind of the same thing he always does, and that's what it is. But he's very excited about his projects because DC's giving him everything. He got this amazing $5 million+ deal. They got his own imprint. He's doing a Superman comic. Pretty iffy on him on everything because it's like, I haven't heard much talk about the Superman comic. Young Justice artistically looks great because my boy Patrick Gleason is drawing it. So
yeah, boy.
Yeah, but like I said, he is a big name, so you gotta hope. You gotta hope it's good. Just gotta keep hoping.
Yeah, hopeful. Yes, you are hopeful for today.
Yeah, hope for today, because you may not know this, guys. He's the guy who also created Miles Morales' Ultimate Spider-Man. And Mike, think about the Spider-Man that I'm glad Miles Morales exists. It should have been written by Brian Michael Bendis for 5+ years. It's just that he doesn't. Just because you create a character doesn't mean we'll get a voice for it.
Yep.
I mean, perfect example. Daredevil was created by Stan Lee, and he was And then until Frank Miller, Jerry Conway, Marv Wolfman took over the book, making him a darker, more grittier hero, it worked out for him. The adventures of Cane Man flying through town with his always triangle romance gets boring, and it's not good.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing with Bill Finger and Bob Kane. Or is it? Yeah, Bill Finger and Bob Kane. With the original Batman, where it was just like this bright, fruity, terrifying looking thing that looked more like a fruit bat than the tried and true Batman that we know today.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Finger came in and was like, listen, buddy, this isn't good.
This is bad.
Well, what can you do?
What can you do? Yeah. So, but that's what it. I think that, maybe the Wonder Twins could be good. The design looks alright.
I'm super surprised. Like, listen, so I grew up watching reruns of, I guess it was that 60s cartoon that had the Wonder Twins in it, the Justice League one. Where, like, the evil layer was underwater or some shit.
Yeah, Legion of Doom, all that jazz, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch Cartoon Network in the 90s, like, they played that show a lot.
Yes, they did.
But I always thought Wonder Twins was made up for that show, because I never saw them doing anything anywhere else. But, now someone's like, yeah, the Wonder Twin comics did it. I'm like, hold the fuck up. They're what?
Yeah.
They're what? And they're like, yeah, don't you know? I'm like, no, I don't know shit. Okay, so... But yeah, so when I heard that, is the first issue out? Because I think I saw it in the comic book store when I went yesterday.
I think the preview is out. I haven't seen it printed yet. I mean, they have a cover by Stephen Byrne so far, Stephen Byrne, but I haven't really seen it. Maybe it's sold out, but I'm unsure that it's technically out as of today.
I don't know. I just went to the comic book store. Actually, and speaking of DC, I saw the new Umbrella Academy has been out and about for a while.
We did it.
Their beige covers. I'm just like, hello. You're confusing because you all look the same. I don't know which issue I have and which one I don't.
They did it. They did it. We got Umbrella Academy.
I mean, and you have to remember that Umbrella Academy is actually coming out on February 15th on Netflix, the show.
Yeah.
So, that's going to be an interesting watch.
Yep, interesting way to survive, that's for sure.
Also, for all of the comics fans out there, I know this is a weird tangent, but in case you didn't know, Umbrella Academy is written by Gerard Way, and Gerard Way, once upon a time, before he realized his comic dreams, or maybe after, I think before, he was the front man for My Chemical Romance, aka every tween's favorite emo band of the mid to late 2000s.
Yeah.
He made a comic.
Yeah, and he also got, because of that comic, he got a job at DC at Young Animal and wrote Doom Patrol, which I think is a pretty good comic. And he was in charge of that whole entire print. I don't know if Young Animal's still around because they've been kind of squeezing that book down into everything. For
sure, but yes, just as a heads up, if you are a MCR fan, like I was, actually, fun story, they banned that group and their albums from my high school or middle school. I think both.
Yeah. So
what I would do is I would make copies of the Black Parade, which was an album I had that my parents were like, whatever, I don't care what you listen to. And then I turned into a nerd. This is what happens, people. I made copies of it and distributed it in the girls' locker room like some sort of music drug dealer. I was like, hey, you wanted that thing? Give me $5. And they would give me $5 and I would give them the copy of the CD. A small killing, man. I think I made like $50-$60 off of that.
The hustle.
That hustle is a real thing, MCR.
Yeah. Another thing to take away from Bendis is that he kind of trying to pump the sales of his book of Young Justice that was out by stating that because he recently tweeted a couple of images, older, I think younger 90s comic images of Superboy meeting the Legion, the Legion of the Future, Legion of Tomorrow, and he's like, "Yo, if you buy my book, there's a chance you might get a Legion reboot by me, or it's Big Vote getting a Legion reboot for Wonder Comics." And I'm like, do you really have a script for sale, or you're just trying to get? Either way, it's fine. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, finish your plate first before you start something else. Legion is the best Legion run of all time, in my opinion, is Dan Abbott and Andy Lanning, which is Legion Lost. You're gonna have to if you sell me that you can write Young Justice well, or young adults, then yes, you can write Legion, because they're also kids. And you have a reputation of not writing kids well.
You know what always confuses me, though? The fact that Legion and Legion are on both opposite sides of the DC Marvel divide, and so whenever anyone talks about Legion, I'm literally like, wait, which Legion?
Which Legion?
David, was it Waller, Adler, crazy spiky hair boy, or the children?
Yes.
Which one?
Yes. Oh yeah. Xavier's kid, or the
David.
superhero team from the future.
Who the fuck knows?
No one knows.
Yep.
But that's definitely enough about Bendis. I hope, like I said, I'm praying his books are good. I don't, because if they know DC being real trouble with the money they gave him.
Yeah, DC is trying, I guess.
Yeah.
You know.
And speaking of people who are trying, I think it's Sony with their Dark Phoenix reshoots. Yeah. $200 million of reshoots. They are trying to sell this movie. Instead of just giving it to Marvel, we're going to keep going with it.
They're like, no, we can, I swear to God, we can do this. Didn't you see the Spider-Man movie? We can do this.
That was us too. Marvel, that was us too.
Yep. So, yeah, but and I think you're going to confuse it. It's not Sony, it's Fox. Fox.
I'm sorry, Fox, yes.
Yes, I know. It's more like, just give it to Marvel, Fox. Nobody wants you doing these things anymore, but they're like, no, I'm gonna do it. Like, God damn it, Fox. But anyway, yes, so that's a whole thing. And they've also had problems. Fox has also had problems with their other mutant franchise they want to get out, New Mutants, which was super pumped for, and I'm really hoping they don't cancel, because I do really, 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 really want to see it. But it's looking like curtains, because they're on, I think, their third or fourth round of reshoots for that movie, and Phoenix is on round 3. I don't know why they're just not like, listen, fuck it, scratch it, start from the beginning again.
I personally, it's very weird too. It's like, wait, is FX a Fox brand? Okay, yeah, that's what it's yeah.
And they did a great job with Legion, Spiky, David, Legion. But, at the same time, it's like, and you'll notice this a lot, like DC, terrible movies, great live action and cartoon shows.
Yeah.
No idea why,
different. It's actually a different division. I kid you not. It's like a whole different
absolutely.
Side of people. The same thing with the animation front. Different people.
Different division, different creators, different strategists, and they're looking for different outcomes. You know what I mean? They're not looking for the same metrics.
Yes.
So their missions are totally different. And DC, DC is great at TV shows. Fox is great at TV shows. They have that, I always forget. They have, the Mutants TV show on Fox. They've got Legion on FX.
Yeah. Gotham does well, even though I'm not a fan of it. It's like...
Gotham is fine. It's interesting. It's a fun take. But, Fox just can't get their shit together when it comes to X-Men movies. And I know they're trying, but it's almost like, try harder?
Or just give it up. I mean, the thing is, I feel like I would rather be a company that specializes. Like you mentioned, Warner Brothers. I mean, they're trying to spread this. They're really good at the live action and the animated for DC stuff. And as we discussed, they have different metrics, strategists. I don't know if you can't apply it at all to movies. I get it, but perhaps you should put a lower scale for your movies and focus what you have, so those guys can get enough experience and points to make you the movies you want to make.
Honestly, and here's what I think. Here's my thought on the X-Men movies as they stand right now. I think they've always been a little too obsessed with the Dark Phoenix saga. They wanted to do it on the first run round with the original cast, and it didn't work. And it looks like the same thing is happening again. Here's what I would do. I think they should follow the model set by Guardians of the Galaxy, and here's why. The way Guardians of the Galaxy worked was Marvel sat down with a bunch of their budding new writers and said, okay, we need to find a new franchise. Go out, pick a team or a hero or whatever, write a script, bring us the ideas, and we'll see which one is viable. And that's how Guardians of the Galaxy came out, right?
Yeah.
That was one of the scripts that they fell in love with. When you start from a place of you have the fucking pantheon to pick from, right? And X-Men has thousands of stories at this point that you can
there's so many heroes you can just it's actually like a river, man. It's not even go fishing,
it's a
you'll
fucking
find something.
Waterfall, yeah. So, instead of being like, we have to do Dark Phoenix, no, you don't fucking have to. You do not have to do Dark Phoenix. I get it that it's a great storyline, people are very nostalgic for it, but if you just gave a writer and said, listen, here are all the X-Men stories, all the characters you can play with, figure something out.
And the messed up part is about, it seems like in the case for Wolverine or Logan, that seemed to work out great, especially Logan.
Yeah, Logan. Well, Logan was great because I'm pretty sure someone read Old Man Logan and said, this would be awesome if it wasn't so fucking confusing.
Yeah, and if we take out the bit of the time travel aspect and some future things, we just keep travel,
fucking Hawkeye, just fucking strip all that out.
Yeah.
Make it simple. And, bring in X-23, because everyone loves small children.
Yeah.
And build the story from just the basic elements, and they did a great fucking job. But here they are trying to basically recapture the magic from, the 80s, the 90s? When the fuck did Dark Phoenix happen?
Oh, God, late 70s.
Right, oh god, right, the jumpsuits, I forgot.
Yep.
The late 70s. And they're just fucking beating a dead horse into pulp. Stop. This isn't working. You don't have the ability to write this yet, and that is okay. It doesn't have to be perfect, but what it does have to be is good. And it's not going to be good if you keep trying to force it to happening.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, so, I don't know, I'm really mad. I really wanted New Mutants to be a thing. I'm much more invested in that than in Dark Phoenix because A, I love horror, and B, I love scary, spoopy bullshit. Even in whatever genre it comes from. I don't even care. I just want to watch it. So there's that. But, we'll have to see. But speaking of things that Fox should be doing, IE, partnering with Marvel, Spider-Man Far From Home just got a trailer.
Yeah.
And it looks like fun. They gave Mysterio the fishbowl helmet, which is all I wanted out of life.
Yes.
But, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure that, they're going for a syndrome sort of storyline with Mysterio.
Right. Or they're going for the Sinister Six. Him just trying to, rig up the squad to get revenge on Spider-Man or something.
Well, my thing is, I think what he's going to do is that the monsters that you see him fighting are of his own creation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's gonna try to play as a hero. Actually, that happened before, in the comics. Yeah, the problem is, though, when it went really bad, and Spider-Man had to bust for it.
So we're gonna have to see how that works out, but I'm actually pretty excited for that one. Sony finally got the fucking memo. Just let Marvel help you. Just let Marvel do it. They're good at this. They've got the formula or whatever the fuck down pat. And also, fun fact, it's coming out just a few days before my birthday.
Yeah. Gonna live that dream.
I'm gonna watch it for my birthday.
You're gonna watch it get lost? Yeah. Watch it get lost in Europe?
Yep. I'm like, I bet they didn't film in Spain, you fucker.
And speaking of movies that's happening, Jason Reitman is going to be directing the new Ghostbusters movie, which will be more of a throwback to the 80s Ghostbusters, if I'm correct?
It will be a continuation of the original 2 films.
Right.
So it will be in universe with Ghostbusters 1 and 2.
Right. And this has made some people upset. One of the people that was deeply upset is Leslie Jones about it, bashing the movie, saying that it's something Trump will do, and et cetera, et cetera. And if you mean, I know Leslie Jones was part of the female Ghostbusters movie that financially flopped, I think it was 3-4 years ago?
Definitely a couple of years ago.
Years ago. Yeah, and the movie flopped for many, many reasons. Yes. That's a legitimate, its own graduate level essay.
Yeah, it's definitely a thesis sort of work. And ultimately I can't blame Leslie Jones for feeling this way. Because, basically that movie never got a fair shake. It wasn't good, but it wasn't, the death of modern cinema that some people made it out to be.
Yeah, and it really didn't hurt that the way that the team was marketing Amy Pascal and etc. people and those fronting the movie, they marketed it very antagonistic, and it's like just this is a goofy comedy movie. Just sell it as a goofy comedy movie. What are you doing?
Like, listen, it's not fucking worth it. Don't fight it.
Exactly, and they just try to fight the internet and whatever, and
they
use.
Yeah, but the thing is, Jason Reitman, being the son of the original director of the first two fucking movies, let's be real, was never going to make a continuation of, a movie he probably felt was not true to the legacy of his father's work, but also, and he said this in an interview, which I found particularly fascinating, was that, because he grew up with Ghostbusters, like, he was on set with his dad, Ivan Reitman, he was, he met the actors, he had all the toys before they came out, like, this was his, like, literal, honest-to-God childhood. Like, he was surrounded by it all the time, so it's kind of not fair to say, oh, how dare he do this, and how dare
Exactly.
Like, listen, like, this is what he grew up with. It's not supposed to be an insult to Leslie Jones or Melissa McCarthy or any of the wonderful actresses who worked on the movie, who honestly were, like, the shining lights of the movie, because the plot was garbage.
Yeah.
The cinematography was kind of fucked up and weird, but, like, their acting really, really brought it together. So, I'm not mad about it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the thing there was, like, people also trying to attack Jason Reitman about his accomplishments. Oh, he's like, oh, this is nepotism. This is industry plans. Like, whoa. Did you know he directed Juno?
Yeah, he directed Juno, Up in the Air, Young Adult, Thank You for Smoking, Tully, which was a huge indie winner last year.
So this man has a resume. Chill. Okay.
Yeah, he's doing great. He also did The Front Runner, which is that movie about wait, what was his name? Crap, it's the politician.
Oh, Milk? No,
buddy, no, that was years ago.
That was years ago, yeah.
Gary Hart, that's who it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Gary Hart bid for the presidency. But like he's got this. Like, he's got that young, fresh voice. Thank You for Smoking was awesome. Juno was basically, for some reason, though I don't 100%, want to give it this credit, like, it was a very influential film for people of my generation. Up in the Air, he's got a really great sense of like adult or transitioning into adult melancholy, and I think that's going to serve him interestingly for the Ghostbusters sequel.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to this movie. Because it's like, oh wow, they got all, it's, how to put this, similar difference when you make a franchise reboot or continuation, when you get all the pieces together and they seem click, it will click. That's the best way to describe it. It's like, it's gonna click. Except for Dark Phoenix, I don't think it's at all.
Or New Mutants. They got the one kid from Stranger Things. Why do they have to?
What did they do? Just get some really weird. Yeah. Hey, another thing that's making me not click and lose my mind is that this is a joke, guys. Rob Liefeld's back at it again. He's got a new character made for Marvel X-Men team who looks exactly like Deadpool, just with giant X mark and guns.
Yeah, no, I don't know if you've ever watched any videos by Linkara.
I have not.
Oh man, first of all, you would love Linkara. Knowing you would love Linkara. He basically reviews comics on the interwebs. I'm gonna send you a link later. Mm-hmm. Quote unquote shameless plug, but he has a little theme song, and in it, he says, he has a little joke. It goes, Trotsky, you're not the smartest. Liefeld, you're not an artist. And it's just fucking true, because Rob Liefeld makes the same characters over and over, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and the fact that no one's taken the pen away from him just proves the power of name value, and it's bullshit, and I'm mad about it.
It looks so bad. Like, I think we should put an image of it, hopefully, in the podcast review, so people can actually see, like, this is what he made, guys. Right, 20 years out of the game, and we're still back at it. Pouches and guns.
Unfortunately, I will have to post it on the post version we do on the Outerhaven net. So if you're listening to us on iTunes, because now we're on iTunes, guys.
We did it, yeah.
You can go to the outerhaven.net and you'll find us there under podcasts, War of Infinite Panels. You should click it, say hi, leave a comment, love us, rate it, even if you hate it, but don't rate it 1 star. If you hate it, give us 5 stars and then send a nasty email to us.
Yeah, we answer all Anstine emails.
We
It's
do.
actually one of my new hobbies.
Exactly. Like I feed on your hate. It's great.
Pays the rent.
It's my new diet for the new year.
That's how you know how I maintain this figure? Hate.
Hate, baby.
Hate.
Fills me up at night.
And speaking of hate that's keeping me up at night, Bryan effing Singer.
Speaking of S-Men, yeah, oof.
I cannot believe he's still having the right to direct the Red Sonja movie despite the many allegations of sexual misconduct.
Yep.
I actually thought, okay, I'm telling you as a guy, okay, the first one, we gotta hear the whole story. Second one, what the fuck? Oh, Jesus Christ, what's going on?
I mean, here's the thing. Like with the Cosby allegations, the Singer allegations are not new. Like, we've known this for a long time. And yet, we're cool with it.
Right,
you know?
and the difference is, like, it's very similar to the Cosby, to, what's his face? The guy who lost a show on Netflix. Kevin Spacey. He had sex with underage men. Accused of sex.
Well, no, excuse me. He assaulted underage men.
He assaulted underage men, yes.
With a minor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He assaulted. Yeah. And I'm like, so I guess if I'm rich and the gay, and if I assault the men, it's okay. No, it's still sexual assault, dude. And it's like, how are we letting this slide? It's one of those things like, guys. Look, I know that apparently he's the gay, but doesn't mean he's not a predator. Yeah.
Surprise! You can be gay and a bad person.
Yes! Bing, bing, bing! I know. And the messed up part, it was really messed up about it, is that so far, I think like 4 to 5 men have accused him, and it's like, yo, and I think one of the men said it was actually the rape, and I'm like, yo, that's not cool.
Yeah, honestly, like, you know that he also got like sued over this, right? When he did Apt People way back early in his career.
Whoa.
Yeah, so here's what happened. In 97, a 14-year-old extra accused him of asking said 14-year-old and a bunch of other minors to film a shower scene in the nude, right?
Oh my god.
Basically, and they sued him on the grounds of infliction of emotional distress, negligence, and invasion of privacy, and they alleged that they had been filmed for Singer's personal sexual gratification.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I mean, it never came to anything because there wasn't quote-unquote sufficient evidence, but let's be real here. He's also gone to court in 2014 for a civil lawsuit of sexual assault against a minor. There was one in 2017.
Yeah.
Like,
one in 90, apparently looking up, 1 in 97.
Yep, the 97, the shower scene one.
Yeah.
2014, he had a civil lawsuit.
Okay, guys, this is over a decade, 2 decades rough of assault. You can't keep giving this man a job, please.
Well, I mean, and I believe one of the film festivals is no longer going to air Bohemian Rhapsody, which he directed also. Because of the allegations. They're like, we don't want to support this man. And like, while we love Rami Malek, and all these other people who worked on this film, worked so hard on it, we don't feel it's right to support this man who assaulted minors.
Yes.
Over and over again.
Yeah, it's like I said, his PR group will have it's, and the thing is that to me, this guy is Bryan Singer is Kevin Spacey's wet dream.
Mm-hmm.
You would Kevin Spacey's terrible in Boston. He's doing it for years. He has no apologetic. No, Bryan Singer's work. He gave 0 fucks.
0 out of 10 fucks.
I'm like, he just paid it off. And the worst part is he kept doing it. Like, it was nothing. So I'm really burned and angry that he still is doing it. And he's doing the Red Sonja movie, which I'm like, oh my, he's going to ruin that brand.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, please get rid of him.
But here's the thing. Here is the interesting thing to me, is I think Kevin Spacey got dinged for it a lot more.
Right.
Because he's an actor and his face is always out there. Bryan Singer, like, would you be able to pick Bryan Singer out of a crowd?
Honestly, not without, I mean, I know him now, I have a beard, but if he had that beard, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, listen, like, he is not as much of a public-facing person the way an actor is. So it's not as surprising to me that he hasn't been dragged out yet, but I think now more and more as we see that, like, hey, so 2 decades of this shit, I think we're ready to stop now. Finally. Yeah. Hopefully. Who the fuck knows? But yeah, it definitely is going to be an interesting ride.
Yeah.
We're going to have to see.
See
But
how
yeah.
far it goes. And another thing we have to see as far as goes is, as you guys may have remembered, I think it was a month ago or 2 months ago, our amazing Bill Maher episode.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
back at it again, and he's
Yeah.
just pathetic. And this is, I'm not even getting to his argument. It's pathetic because it took you roughly 2 months to come up with a rebuttal because you were proven wrong by the entire comic book community.
Yeah.
A mature adult male or someone who can at least admit defeat will just walk away from the problem, not speak of it, or just, it's over.
Nope.
Nope. Bill Maher has
Nope.
to has a laugh for it like a pathetic potential child.
Here's the thing. Bill Maher's only way to make money is off controversy, and I think we forget that, but because he's just basically a commentator and doesn't actually produce anything significant of his own, he has to basically, swat at the beehive and then cry that he got stinged. That's his only way to make money. That's it. So I'm not surprised that he brought it back, given that he probably saw the biggest boost in his net worth that he's seen for a while, because between this and his Islamophobia comments and a bunch of just his super elite hyper literal bullshit, and I am a liberal, I'm a socialist. My parents come from a dictatorship, so I lean as hard left as I think is probably responsible. But this guy is just at a level of just pseudo white liberalism that just makes me want to fucking grab the guy. Oh, I'm too good for this. I'm elite.
Smarter
I'm an
than you.
academic. No, you're not. Shut the fuck up.
God, the worst part about it to me is if you were truly left leaning, it's you'd be tolerant. Because you believe in religion, you're a retard. Me, you do notice I'm not saying religion's the smartest thing, but there's some people who have these beliefs for their core values. You shouldn't shit on that. Just saying.
And
it's not helping the cause.
No. And I think Peter David came back with the best response. He works for Marvel. He came back with probably, one of my favorite responses. He posted it on his Facebook, and you actually shared it with me, Matt. I'm not going to take credit for finding it.
Yep.
But this idea that this is child's things. It's so is sports. Sports is a bunch of guys dressed in matching outfits, throwing balls at each other, and people watching it screaming and losing their mind. That's pretty childish if you think about it. Right? But nobody shits on the Yankees or the Mets.
Nope. Exactly. Well, the Mets.
That.
Yeah.
Well, listen. Don't you insult the Mets. I'll fucking
look,
fight
man.
you.
87's over. 87's over.
At least we're not the shittiest team that makes the most money. Cough, cough. The Yankees.
Let's not talk about that anymore.
Okay, no. Gotta be on the same side, Matt. We gotta be on the same side.
Look, I'm from Queens. I love them. I grew the Mets. I love them. But every time I see the Mets play, a part of me just dies more. Please, can we get a good team? Yeah. Please, can we stop getting injuries? Please.
At least we're not the Cubs. Anyway.
Always root for the Cubs.
Back to comics. Anyway.
Yeah.
This idea that and I liked his idea, Peter David's idea, of what is and what isn't literature, right?
Yes.
You have to understand the notion of literature is actually newer than you would think, right? So, Matt, you haven't studied this, so I'm going to go ahead and ask you, when do you think the first novel, we'll say the first Western novel was written, because I don't actually know when the first novel, which I'll tell you about later, was written.
The first Western novel? Wouldn't it be Homer when he wrote the Odyssey or the Iliad or something like that?
Nope, because technically that's history.
Oh, that is it? Because I thought it was the epic poems were the first novel stories.
No, because they're not fictional.
Ah.
They're all historical. They're all, as far as they know, historical accounts of different things. A lot of people think that tradition comes from, plays also don't count as literature. They count in their own category. But yeah, epic poems, almost all of them are about either myth, which they thought was real, or historical things, like the Odyssey, which they also thought were real. When do you think the first fiction novel was written?
I wouldn't know, because that was actually what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe the epic poems from stuff. That was the one.
In fact, unless you count the Tales of Genji, which I believe is 13th century Japan, which is the first fiction work that is in a novel style, Western academics give the first Western novel to be Don Quixote, which was published in 1611.
Really?
Yeah.
Don Quixote. Okay.
Yeah. Because Don Quixote is a satire of these sort of, accomplished tales of these knights, and it plays off different sort of things. So it's the first recognized purely fictional, 100% intended to be farcical work, right? So fiction has not existed as long as people think it. It's only been around for like a solid 400 plus years.
So you're telling me, this as a joke, no one else decided to have an original imagination until 16?
Because they didn't. Here's the thing: it's not that they, again, plays are fictional, but plays are not
plays
novels.
are fictional, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the first works of fiction are definitely ancient Greek, probably, if not Mesopotamian, Babylonian, right? But the first novel, the way that we think about great works of literature, is only like 400 years old.
Ooh, yeah.
It's not this like storied fucking history. It's like, some guy decided, to make fun of these stories that he just kept hearing over and over again. Or if you're looking at it from the Japanese side of things, this woman decided that she was going to build a dramatic sort of telling of like a fictional court life in Japan. It's not that, fiction didn't exist, it's just that the novel didn't exist in the way that we think of it. And the novel is changing all the fucking time.
True.
Right? Everything, all works of great literature and art, like, look at Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock was thought to be a maniac in his time.
Oh, yeah.
People didn't think his shit was art, and now Jackson Pollock paintings go for, like, millions of dollars.
Yes.
This idea that, like, art or literature or anything creative lives in this stagnant, well, this is art and this is not art, binary is bullshit.
Yes, it's actually, and it's insulting to the medium because you can't experience it like it is. Like, the best way to describe it is that you guys may know Sara is deeply into the horror comic scene. I am not. But to me, say horror comics aren't comics, what am I talking about? I don't read it, doesn't mean I'm unaware of it. It's insulting.
Exactly, and it's like, just because there are things that people do that I don't enjoy, like, I'm not a person of faith. I don't have a religious belief, but I don't go around telling people who are religious, well, your thing is stupid, it's not real. It's like, they take something from it that I just don't. And, I really like candles. I just, I collect candles. I think candle collecting is fun. Other people collect figurines, but it's not on me to shit on their figurine collecting because it doesn't bring me any particular happiness, but it also doesn't hurt me in any way.
Right. It doesn't take away more of the essence of let's say, human connection that people have in common. Like, literature in itself, the reason why, like, I read so much comics, and I'm aware of Peter David's great works. Like, to me, I personally do not like Peter David's Aquaman, but people enjoy that. I love his X Factor. I really do love his Supergirl run. I'm trying to finish that run. It's a long time ago, but I'll finish it eventually. And it's like, oh, look, he turns Supergirl into a medium between the good and balance of hell and the earth. That's kind of cool. Or in X Factor, he made Multiple Man a detective. He's trying to figure out who murdered who in a town of mutants. But if he gets the government involved, they will shut down and just send sentinels on everybody. So he has to, but at the same time, the killer could be one of his own X-Men. That's kind of cool. And by the way, that concept was used several times in many crime series. It was used in many crime series where, a cop of families, he can't snitch, like Blue Bloods. There was a season where, like, one of the family was actually a criminal and they couldn't do anything about it.
Yep.
That's real TV. You watch that, probably watch that Bill Maher, so get out of here. That came from a comic book, so come on. You can't say that elements of this thing is pure, and if I put it elsewhere, it's trash. Sorry.
Yeah. Bill Maher, essentially, what he's doing is, it's not against comic books. It's that people call him out for not being as smart as he thinks he is. And, really sort of putting him under a microscope and saying, well, your argument is flawed because of these several fallacies. And he doesn't like that. He doesn't like his position of intelligence being channeled. Which is why he does the two things that anybody who's bad at arguing does. One is he acts like he doesn't care about a subject that he keeps bringing back over and over. Oh, I don't care about this, but people keep hating on me. It's like, no, you do care. By the fact that you keep bringing this up shows that you fucking care.
So and the thing is that now your rebuttal to it, everyone is that, well, I'm sad that Stan Lee died. Oh, you're changing the argument because you were shitting on Stan Lee. I'm sad that you're alive like in comics. I'm like, first of all, I'm sad for you because that's the only comic I come up with. You can't even argue. Like, I know people who are literary people who says, I don't think graphic novels are great. That's your opinion, but they have limited arguments, even though I think it's stupid. But it's like, that's your argument. You don't even have that. You're just insulting people. I'm smarter than you. Yuck. I'm Bill Maher.
Yeah, but the second thing that he does is that he continues to make this about... He needs to deflect the argument. Oh, well, these guys... He always does the character attack, right? Instead of actually looking at the statement that he made and arguing critically for his point. He says, well, these man children.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your point about, like, where's your proof that these people are man children? Some of the greatest, I mean, Neil fucking Gaiman, right?
Yes.
One of the greatest contemporary authors of our time, beloved by millions of people around the world. Terry Pratchett, these guys worked on comics happily. They enjoy it. They've built mythos for comics. They've enjoyed reading comics. They've talked about it, how it has influenced their work. This idea that, like, well, it's not high art, so it's not worth my time, and people who like it are bad people. Well, then you're discounting a lot of different people. So, those are two things that show that, like, what he's arguing against is not the actual argument that he made, because there's no way to defend his argument. What instead he's doing is he's trying to deflect because he doesn't want to come off like an idiot. But the problem is it actually makes him look more like an idiot because he just seems like a ginormous asshole.
Yeah, he just doesn't. And the worst part about it is no one's asking you to know everything about everything. Like, it is okay that you don't know the comics. I know shit about certain novels. Hell, I didn't like today. Don Quixote was the first novel critic. What?
Yeah.
Look,
shit all the time.
If I was Bill Maher, I would argue, no, it wasn't. It was Homer Editor's place. It was Homer's Editor's place. You nerds don't know anything.
Yeah, you nerds, we've been fucking nitpicking. Ugh. You think you're so smart with it. Yeah, but actually, though, like, I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's true.
Yeah.
And when you close yourself off to art that way, when you say, well, this doesn't count, so I'm not going to partake of it or look at it, the reason I got into comics, let me just be 1,000% real on the table here. The reason I got back into comics was not because, like, the advertising impressed me so much. It was my friend who said, hey, the new Ms. Marvel series with Kamala Khan really means a lot to me. I think it's a story you're really going to enjoy. I know you don't really read these kinds of comics, American comics, but, I think you should check it out. And instead of being, oh, no, the comics are stupid, I went, okay, picked up a copy, I really liked it, and I started the ball rolling from there.
Yeah.
But, if you close yourself off to art and creativity and things that people put a lot of time and love into, and whether they're making it or they're enjoying it, you just come off like a giant asshole.
Yeah, and the worst part is I think he's not going to back down from it. I don't think... And I think we should just ignore him at this point. Like, I know he has a loud voice, but no one cares anymore because it's like, you're not a pundit. You don't even bring any articulate to it. And it's actually embarrassing that you lost to, again, the fallacies of your own argument. Like, I used to Dick Tracy comics. Yes, those are strip comics and they exist. But again, that's a different era. Comics have evolved past that. Those are still around. You can read them. There are people like my friend Brendan, who wished me happy birthday, and like the guy's great. He's really into cartoon comics, like strips, like the Peanuts or Zits, and he consider those the comics for him. That's fine, but he doesn't go out his way. He says, you know what, Matt, that Orion by Walt Simonson reading is a good comic. That New Teen Titans by Walt Perez, I don't get it. It just seems very sexualized. I'm like, he doesn't do that. Like, he knows this is what I know. I'm not going to come in your space and ruin it for you because this, to me, is what comics is. Doesn't mean it's everything comics are. And I think that's the problem. He's like, well, this is what comics is. Everything is. No, it's not. It evolved. Without Neil Gaiman, I don't think we would have, even without him or various other people, we wouldn't have this experiment experience. I mean, what else exists? There's a guy called Alex Cott. He's a very great writer. He writes Zero. He has a book come out called A New World. He writes this very trippy, subliminal-esque human experiences of comics, and people buy them. I think I don't get it. I read some of them. I get some of them, but it's like, hey, man, make that money. It's all you. Do it. But I'm not going to say it's not comics. And that's what makes me mad about Bill Maher. He's trying to box in what is in comics.
I don't know, but at the end of the day, what's a good way to combat against these stupid people who don't know any better about how amazing comics are? Is to recommend amazing comics of our own. That's
true. And the comic I'm going to recommend this month is going to be... Man, I have a lot. Literally going to recommend that. I actually finished reading recently New Squirrel Girl by Derek Charm and Ryan North. Erica Henderson's along with the book. Artistically, the book looks good, but my only complaint with the book is that Squirrel Girl is a plus-size character, and Derek Charm draws her extremely, normal thin. I'm hoping he changes that and makes her, big, thick girl again. That's great. I also recommend Gerard Wade's Doom Patrol, Volume 1 and 2. I read them. I read them recently. I'm like, man, this guy is great. Weird, but he's great. I'm surprised that the series didn't continue after that, but I definitely recommend those two books.
Hey, you never know. I mean, Umbrella Academy came back when they picked it up for a TV show.
True, but the young animal thing, I think it's collapsed under DC, and DC in itself has not been forthcoming about what's happening with their internal problems. I mean, Vertigo's like what, 2 books a year now?
Yeah. Let's not think about that. It just makes me sad.
Let's not think about. Thanks, Dan Didio.
But anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and recommend something a little bit more indie. I'm going to recommend a series called Zodiac Star Force. If you want to see the first volume is By the Power of Astra. It comes out from Dark Horse Comics, and it's by Kevin Panetta and Paulina Gancho. It is a really fun sort of magical girl series, but instead of being based on the planets like Sailor Moon, it's based on the Zodiac. There's love, there's loss, there's fighting, there's monsters, there's a big mythology at play, sinister people inside of a high school, and then there's high school drama and teen bull, and it just kind of scratches like a weird itch I didn't know I had. Both volumes are out. I haven't had a chance to read volume 2 yet. So definitely check it out if you're looking for a little bit more magical girl a la classic style. Then,
At least it's a good story.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that's the way you write it, and
highly recommend. It's definitely a good time for all.
Especially when the uppercut.
Yeah.
I remember reading it. You're like, oh no!
Love it.
Love it. Anyway, guys, thanks again for listening to our rants and our podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media. We'll be back next month. And do us a favor and don't follow Bill Maher anywhere. If you somehow know he's on your social media, just X him out. It ain't worth it.
Fuck him. He's the worst. And you should also follow us on iTunes if you're listening to us. Please subscribe so that you always get the new episodes right when they come out. Or you can continue to follow us at theouterhaven.net where we will post monthly.
Yep. Thanks again. And again, see us next month. Bye.
See you later, y'all.